FM HD2, New York. A good karma brands radio station.
Michael K. is on the radio today, and he ain't afraid to say what he's thinking. It's the Michael K. Show on 880 ESPN Radio.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Monday, January 26th, 2026. Me and you for two. Those are the rules of engagement. And it's the fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio. So on a snowy Monday, you might be stuck at home. Probably not in the car at this point, still plowing the roads. So settle in. Enjoy the show, either on 880 ESPN, the ESPN New York app, the ESPN New York YouTube page. There's a lot of ways to consume us. Pick one of them, and let's roll. So we have a Super Bowl. In just under 2 weeks. It's going to be the Seahawks against the Patriots. It's a repeat of a previous Super Bowl, and how they got there. Very interesting games yesterday for sure. The big story here in New York is that Sam Darnold gets to take the Seahawks to a Super Bowl. And he is not just a passenger. He was driving the bus yesterday. I know the Seahawk defense is excellent, but it wasn't that great yesterday. Matthew Stafford had a great game against that defense. The defense looked so impenetrable the week before. Yesterday it was not, but Sam Darnold kept it on the tracks. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 346 yards, and he looked great. So, obviously, there's revisionist history going on, how the Jets made a mistake, how should they have never let him go. Let's remember one thing. He did not play well for the Jets. I mean, let's all be honest about that. Now, did they mistreat him? Did they not give him weapons? Did they give him a terrible coach in Adam Gase? Of course. So that could have led to him being ineffective. But it's not as if they gave away a quarterback that was dealing, and they said, you know what, we've got to have Zach Wilson. Now, I don't know if this is revisionist history. We'll talk to Brian Costello, who covers the Jets for the longest time for the New York Post. He'll be on it too. But Joe Douglas, the GM at the time, is said to have wanted to keep Sam Darnold as a quarterback. He realized that they did not give him the proper tools to succeed, but they felt that they could take the pick that they used on Zach Wilson, trade down, get a treasure trove of picks, and stay with Darnold. And the word is that Woody Johnson wanted to select Zach Wilson. Now, why he did? I mean, that's anybody's guess. He supposedly knows the family. The family's from JetBlue, whatever the case may be. So you do what the owner says, and the owner said, I want Zach Wilson. So it didn't make sense at that time to keep Sam Darnold if you're going to draft Zach Wilson. So Sam Darnold has certainly had a lot of things take him different places in the NFL. The Jets traded him. The Panthers let him walk. The 49ers had him as a backup. Then the Vikings had him. 14 wins for them last year. 37 touchdowns. But they were committed to J.J. McCarthy. Also, if you remember, Sam had a terrible final game in the playoffs against a really tough defense. So the Vikings said, no, we're going to go with J.J. McCarthy. So Sam Darnold ends up signing a contract with Seattle. Seattle lets Geno Smith go. Geno Smith signs with Las Vegas. He doesn't do well, and Sam Darnold has himself a very big year. So, again, we'll all be ripping the Jets. Jets did the wrong thing. And in retrospect, you could say they did. Well, then I guess the Panthers did the wrong thing. Now, the 49ers, they never signed him to be that guy, and it was good for him to go to Shanahan University. The Vikings, well, you can question what they did. The guy played great for them. 14 touchdowns. And again, he had that bad game at the end. And then the Seahawks saw something and said, let's take a chance. But let's not rewrite history as if to say the Jets gave up a great quarterback when Sam Darnold was with them. Remember the seen ghost, and now, ironically enough, that's the team that he's going to face, the Patriots. Not the same talent, obviously. That was a long time ago, but there were a lot of bad things that happened with Sam Darnold with the Jets. It's easy to make the Jets the clown show that they are. it's easy to sit back and criticize them. How'd they let this guy go? A lot of teams let him go. Panthers let him go. 49ers didn't retain him. Vikings let him go. Maybe he's finally landed in a place that's good for him. And I'm going to tell you what. I'm glad for him. He used to be a weekly on our show, me, Don, and Peter, and he was delightful. He really was. He took the questions every single week, didn't make excuses, was just a good guy. And it was hard to dislike him. We had our Christmas party show, and he showed up, was there, never missed no matter how bad his performance was, he never missed an assignment with us ever. So it was hard not to root for him. He was really a good guy. And the only guy that I can compare him to all the years that we had weeklies on the show was Eli Manning. Same personality, same responsibility, same accountability. He was terrific. So I'm really, really happy that it's worked out for this guy. Listen, I'm not shy about taking shots at the Jets. I'm not. I mean, they're a dumpster fire. And it's only going to get worse. So their head coach gets rid of all of these assistant coaches. And, people are making the case, well, isn't it good that he got rid of them? Yeah, but he's the guy who hired them. He didn't inherit these guys. Aaron Glenn hired them. So he's going to be the guy who hires their replacements. So what he saw in these guys that are so terrible now, he's going to see what in these new guys. Again, we'll get into that with Brian Costello. So it's easy to take shots at the Jets, and many of those shots are warranted. But to sit here and to argue about the fact that how could they let this guy go? This guy wasn't good with them. And as I mentioned earlier, you can make the argument he wasn't good with them because they never gave him the necessary tools. That I would emphasize. That is true. But that game yesterday, it was an odd one. 31-27. For a while there, Tariq Woolen looked like he was going to be a villain. They stopped the Rams. They were up by 10. They stopped the Rams, and then Woolen starts talking trash to the Rams sideline and gets a flag. Now, that's why I could never be a coach, because I would have sat his butt down immediately. I don't understand these guys who constantly are trash talking. And I understand it's an emotional game, but there are rules. And he's chirping at the sideline, and they threw the flag. And the next play, they have a touchdown. So they would have punted, and they would have been down by 10. Instead, this guy opens his trap, and they have to sit there, and they have to really, they were down by 11, by the way. They have to really hold their breath. They end up winning 31-27. 31-27. And that Woolen should thank the football gods that he is not going to be the guy who's looked at that lost this game. But Xavier Smith, he does not have any football gods to thank. He muffed a punt before, then he completely fumbled another punt, which led to a Seahawk touchdown. That was awful. And then I give McVay credit. He yanked him out of the game. He was not back there for another punt the rest of the game. He just wasn't. But that was the story. That was the story. So now Sam Darnold is going to the Super Bowl. 2018 quarterbacks in that draft. Lamar Jackson, never to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen, no Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield, no Super Bowl. Josh Rosen lasted 1 year with the Cardinals, no Super Bowl. Sam Darnold, he's going to the Super Bowl. And he also mentioned, and he was right, they said, well, you're the first guy to go to a Super Bowl. He said, I actually went to the Super Bowl with San Francisco when he was the backup. And he did. But this time he's going as a starter. As I mentioned, he's not a passenger on the bus. He is driving the bus. Little note here. Little note. You might all enjoy this, and you could use this at any cocktail party or maybe at a Super Bowl party that you might be attending on February 8th. You ready for this? Sam Darnold's grandfather was a former Marlboro man. You know, the tough-looking cowboy type that Marlboro had as one of the spokesmen. I don't know if he was the Marlboro Man. I don't think he was, but he was a Marlboro Man. You could actually look online. I mean, he looks exactly like Sam Darnold. That was his grandfather. But here's the kicker. You know what his name was? Do you know what the guy's name was? Sam Darnold's grandpa. Dick Hammer. I'll just leave that out for you. You make of that what you will. That was his name. Not making it up. Not being salacious. Not trying to be dirty. We leave that for other shows. But that was his nickname. No, that was not his nickname. That was his name, Dick Hammer. All right, so in the other game, the Patriots and the Broncos. Couple of things to dissect in that game, and I wonder you guys think about it as well. The Patriots win 10-7. And the reason I feel sorry for the Broncos is, and they really did it to themselves, because coaches have really up-to-the-minute weather reports. They know exactly when it's going to start raining. They know exactly when it's going to start snowing. That game in the second half, midway through the third quarter, was unplayable. You couldn't kick a field goal, no matter what the distance. You couldn't complete a pass. You couldn't run because it was slippery. And that was the ball game. So now there's cries that they should have dome stadiums. They should play at neutral sites. I don't agree with any of that. I think you play at the site of the team that had the best record. And, it would have been at Gillette, because they were essentially tied. It would have been at Gillette if the Patriots had beaten the Raiders earlier in the year. They would have had home field. Now, it was terrible weather in Gillette as well, here on the East Coast. But the second half did not highlight the skills of the teams, did not highlight the skills of the kickers. It was unplayable weather. And I actually feel sorry for the Broncos that they have to go home, because for the final 20 minutes of the game, neither team had a chance. Neither team had a chance. I'm sorry that it leads to the cries for, well, you should have it in dome stadiums or neutral sites without bad weather is part of NFL lore. It just is. The Ice Bowl, the game in Green Bay where Tom Coughlin's face almost froze and cracked off, all of that stuff. It's what legends are made of. But the weather was so inclement in Denver from mid-third quarter on that it wasn't a legend. It was sad, and neither team had a chance to really exhibit the skills that got it to this point. Now, some of it's on Sean Payton. He's up 7-0, and he has a chance to kick a field goal to make it 10-0. It was something like 4th and 2, 4th and 3. And he decides to go for it, doesn't get it. So he gets no points out of it. Now, you can't sit here and be fooled by the fallacy of the predetermined outcome. But you got to take the points. Everybody is so addicted to the analytics of when to go for it, when not to go for it. But doesn't it matter the weather report that you have? Doesn't it matter the defense that you exhibit? I mean, the Broncos' defense is extraordinary. You give them a 10-0 lead and you know that there's terrible weather coming in. Don't you like the chances? And Sean Payton came out and said, well, I mean, I looked at it that way and said, well, imagine if we were up 14-0. But you weren't. It's not that easy to get a 4th and 2, a 4th and 3. It's not that easy. So they got nothing. And we've seen it throughout the season. These people are addicted to the chart that's given to them by the analytic crew that doesn't take the other stuff into account. They're leaving points on the board. We saw it throughout the playoffs so far. Why is this now a thing? Tell me that didn't cost the Broncos yesterday. Now, the thing that really hurt them was they didn't have their quarterback. Bo Nix can run. The replacement quarterback couldn't. Because the only way you had a chance of gaining yards, the only guy who knew exactly where he was going was the quarterback. Bo Nix was really a weapon with his legs. Yesterday, they had no weapon with legs at the quarterback position. He completed a great pass early that ended up getting them the touchdown. I understand all of that. But it's hard to get to the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback who had not thrown a pass in the NFL in 2 years. I'm not putting it all on him. As I said, I'm putting some of it on Sean Payton. Leaving points on the board. It's become too much of a thing. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I've told you this all the time. I am all for analytics. I understand the value in them because analytics essentially is information. So what's more beneficial, going for it here or going for the field goal? So they run it. They run the different scenarios through computers, and they say, well, it's better to go for the touchdown here. But it doesn't take the other things into account. It doesn't take the moment into account. It doesn't take the impending weather into account. It doesn't take your defense into account. It doesn't take the fact that Drake May has been struggling throughout the playoffs. It doesn't take any of that into account. I don't get it. I do not understand it, how they are slavish to this. They bow down to it, and even a guy like Sean Payton, smart, a great coach. Oh, well, the analytic guy said I have to go for it, and they go for it, and they get nothing. So now they're going home, and the Patriots going to the Super Bowl. Now, I'm very proud that I was able to give you both games yesterday. So I'm assured of a 500 season in my two-pack for sure. I'm 21-19-2 so far this year. 21-19-2. Now, we'll make our pick next week. But at this point, the way Drake May has been playing, the defense of the Seahawks, I think Seattle's going to win. Now, I could change my mind. Obviously, injuries happen during practice. Other information becomes available. But early on, I'm going to take Seattle over New England. Because I know Drake May might win the MVP. I think it's going to be Matthew Stafford. And Drake May had an unbelievable season, completing 70% of his passes. But he has not been good in the playoffs. The biggest thing he did yesterday was that first down that he got on a run. That was a gutsy call by Josh McDaniels, and that was the only call to make. They could not throw the ball. They knew if they got a first down, the game was over, and it ended up being over. So good stuff on the weekend. I bet you we'll probably get the ratings sometime tomorrow. But I bet you those are record ratings for those two games. Not because how great they were, but they were good games. But because of the weather around the country. You had no other option but to sit home and watch TV. And people did. And I bet you they did it in incredible, incredible numbers. One quick note. A lot of people don't even watch pregame shows. Now, Matt Ryan left the CBS pregame show to become the president of football operations for the Falcons. So they have an open spot there. And they filled it with Kyle Long and Kirk Cousins. Now, Long's pretty good. Howie's son. He's really good. But Kirk Cousins is absolutely extraordinary. I tweeted this out yesterday. He's so good on the air. It's like he's been doing it for 20 years. That is going to be the prize guy for any network that wants a great broadcaster. He looks like he could host the pregame show. He talks in a easy, sure tone. He's not a hot take artist. He's just breaking down what he's seeing. And he does it so smoothly, again, as if he's been doing it for 20 years. He is so good. Now, in all likelihood, he's going to continue to play because he actually played quite well for Atlanta down the stretch. And even if Atlanta doesn't want him, not a bad guy for a team to pick up. He can still play. The further out you get from Achilles surgery, the better you're going to be. The better you're going to be. But when it's all said and done, whether it's next year or a couple of years from now, Kirk Cousins will be the prize for any network that wants to have an unbelievable addition to their pregame show. 1-800-919-3776. That's the number. Let's take a couple of phone calls. We'll have Steve Young join us at 1:30, as he always does on a Monday. We'll pick apart his genius football brain, and we'll start off with Robbie in Lenox, Massachusetts. Robbie.
Michael, it's so nice to talk to you. I didn't get a chance to get on the other day. So a couple of things. First of all, it's funny. Steve Young grew up about 5 minutes from me in Greenwich, Connecticut. I grew up in Rybrook, so New York. But so anyway, as a frustrated broadcaster, I actually had a award-winning show up here for a couple of years. My broadcast partner's down in Florida now. But question for you. You mentioned a few months ago about not broadcasters, but actors getting $60 million.
Right.
Each have frozen, right, before I get to the ball games. I do over 100 voices, and I can't get acting work now, voice acting, because of these actors are using their own voice. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you, Mike. My favorite guy to do was Marv Albert for years. Michael, I just want to say it's great to talk to you. Anyway, about the James yesterday, Sean Payton coached arguably the worst half of football I've ever seen for a guy who has a chance to go to the Hall of Fame. First of all, the play call was ridiculous. If you're going to go for it, go straight ahead. What's the closest distance between 2 points is a straight line? That made absolutely no sense. And the other thing, too, that bothered me so much was, why don't you just take the points? And can you find a meteorologist in Denver someplace to tell Sean Payton, hey, it's going to snow in the second half, dummy. Why don't you just kick the field goal? I'm so tired of the analytics. It drove me crazy. Dable drove me crazy. Kafka drove me crazy this year with the Giants. Michael, when are we going to start having common sense when it comes to coaching and taking the points? You know the weather's going to be bad. And Jarrett Stidham makes the ultimate, the Gary O'Premian backward pass yesterday, which was ridiculous. But, and the other thing, too, that I wanted to ask you about was the Rams game. And the question I have for you is, when the Rams scored, why didn't they go for two? And the other thing is, why didn't they kick the field goal with 4 minutes left? I mean, the Giants blew a 10-point lead with 4 minutes left to the Bears. That's a lifetime in the NFL, 4 minutes.
I'm glad you brought that up, Robbie, because that is a really, really good point. If you go for two when they scored the last touchdown and you make it 31-28, then you're field goal away, right? Instead, you're 4 points away. So that made no sense. Even if you miss, even if you don't get the 2 points, you have 31-26. So a touchdown's still going to give you the lead. And then the other thing that Robbie's talking about is when you have a situation that you have the ball down there, fourth down, and again they go for it with about 3.5 minutes left. And a really good defense, you have your timeouts. Why not kick the field goal? Because then you're a field goal away rather than a touchdown away. And they eschewed that, and they got nothing. So it would have been 31-30. It would have been 31-30. Now, it would have upset the bettors because it was a 2.5-point spread. That's certainly not anything that you think about. Those are two legitimate questions. And I'm glad that Robbie brought it up because I had it written down, and I didn't get to it yet. Why they didn't go for two and why they didn't go for a field goal when they had the opportunity. Let's go to our good buddy Richard in Manhattan. Richard.
Michael, I've seen all 59 Super Bowls. At the start of the season, I would say these two are the most unlikely ever paired up. The only game that I can think of close, and see what you think, was the Baltimore Raven Giant game in 2001. I mean, there have been a lot of Cinderellas, but not two Cinderellas.
I think the ones that, according to Vegas, Richard, I'll let you finish your point. I think the Rams and the Titans was the second most unlikely one. I think one of the teams that are going to play 2 Sundays from now, 60-1. The other one was 80-1. So this is the most unlikely, and the Rams and the Titans were supposedly number 2.
Michael, I got some baseball points. Max Scherzer. I think what he did was unbelievable postseason. Mm-hmm. First of all, what he did in that Seattle game, when he told the manager, go back to the dugout, I'm going to finish this job. That was unbelievable. I loved it. Then, do you know he became the oldest Game 7 starter in the history of baseball, 130 years? Can you imagine that? And if you figure that Game 7s will occur on an average of every 4 years, so in the next 100 years, maybe 25 to 30 times, there'll never be a 42-year-old pitcher like that starting Game 7. That's unbelievable. And, Michael, one last thing I want to close on. I want to hear your 1, 2, 3, 4s. Now, I'm only going to mention the first names because this is baseball and we all know who I'm talking about. Shohei Aaron, Bobby, or Ken. Give me your 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll hang up on that.
Give me the last two again.
Bobby.
Bobby who?
Bonds.
Oh, okay. Oh, you mean Barry?
Barry. No, I'm sorry, Barry Bonds. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, did I mess up? Barry Bonds. And Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, Shohei, and Aaron Judge. Give me your 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks, Michael.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Well, I mean, I would assume that we're taking steroids out of it, the way you asked it, because otherwise Bonds wouldn't even be on the list. So I'd say Bonds would be first. I would say that Judge is second, Griffey's third, and Shohei is fourth. Now, before everybody goes nuts, there was something online today comparing, Judge and Shohei. Judge defeats him in every single category for his career other than stolen bases. So I go with Bonds first. Again, PED's out of the equation. Griffey, did I go Griffey second or did I go Aaron second? I think I went Aaron second. Yeah, Aaron second because Griffey fell off toward the end of his career, and then Shohei fourth. Now, if you add in the fact, is it Shohei the hitter and the pitcher, then Shohei moves up. Shohei probably moves up to second ahead of Judge. But if you're just looking at hitting, that's all we're doing. I take Judge over Shohei any day of the year. Any day of the year. 1-800-919-3776. That's the number. When we get back, we'll talk to the great Steve Young, the Hall of Famer, when we come back right here on the K Show, ESPN New York.
Monday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
Sam out of the shotgun. Looks, steps, throws back corner. Touchdown! Seahawks! JSN!
Now seeing Sam Darnold advance to the Super Bowl, did the Jets move on from him too early?
Just like I said, complete team win, and very proud of this group.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Brian's headed to the basketball court, but he's sick of this check engine light. So he goes to AutoZone for the free Fix Finder service.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
Where a friendly AutoZoner reads the light in just a few minutes and gives him a detailed report.
No big, just a loose gas cap.
And gets him to the court with a tight gas cap and tighter defense. The free Fix Finder service at AutoZone. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your knowledge to work on the events that matter to you. Prediction Markets isn't just sports. It's the Fed rate decision, your favorite award show, and so much more beyond the playing field. Trade events with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Rangers fans, shoot your shot with BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the New York Rangers. Add some excitement to every Rangers game this season by downloading the BetMGM app and getting instant access to a variety of parlay selection features and live betting options. Enjoy same-game parlays, player props, boosted odds specials, the best daily promotions in the business, and so much more when you sign up. The chase is on for the next Stanley Cup. So get hyped for Rangers action all season long with an official sports betting partner of the New York Rangers. Sign up today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older to wager and physically present in New York and New Jersey only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Gambling problem? In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In New Jersey, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, New York and New Jersey, Boost Mobile has an unlimited talk, text, and data plan that's only $25 a month forever, meaning you'll only ever pay $25 a month for the rest of your life. Who wouldn't want unlimited wireless when it only costs $25 a month forever? If you don't, you must be one of those people who enjoy overpaying for their phone plan. $25 a month forever is truly as good as it gets. So go online and switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
Make cancer screening a part of your annual healthcare routine. New York Presbyterian offers a full range of cancer screenings, including lung, cervical, prostate, colorectal, breast, and more. Regular cancer screenings could save your life by detecting cancer at its earliest, most treatable stages. Screenings are available across New York City and Westchester. Learn more at nyp.org/cancer screening. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
When it comes to meat and seafood, selection matters, and no one beats Wild Fork Foods. To everyday essentials, to high-quality steaks, to seafood, and more, every product is blast frozen to lock in peak flavor and freshness, so you get restaurant-quality meats at home for amazing prices. Shop in person at 7 locations across Long Island and New Jersey, or you can order online for same-day delivery. It's easy, it's convenient, and the prices are wild. WildForkFoods.com.
For 100 days, I'm going to cross the 7 continents because the answers to everything important are out there at the edges of our world. I'm stepping into the unknown. Where are we going? To see our planet
This is amazing.
as it's never been seen before. From pole to pole.
Pole to Pole with Will Smith from National Geographic. Now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Show me the way.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Welcome to the show. We love Mondays. We get a chance to talk to the Hall of Famer Steve Young, who I hear is coaching one side of the Pro Bowl team, the flag football. The other side is Jerry Rice, so 2 teammates going at it. But we're not going to talk about that. We'll talk about what happened yesterday, and that is with Steve Young, who joins us now. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Hey, Michael, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. Let's start with the snow. How difficult is it to play in those conditions? And is there anything that a team can do to move the ball? Because the kicking game looked like it was shot in the fourth quarter. They couldn't throw. They couldn't run. What do you go to?
It gets tough. Throwing the ball actually is not the hardest thing to do. It's footing. And it's being able to have a receiver that can run a route that has, can stay on his feet. You can see the running game, it becomes just linemen just kind of push at each other. There's no traction. And so that's what really gets tough. And when it really starts to snow, then it comes visibility. So it's all that. But so your offense gets muddied down. And then it becomes just a true fist fight. So in other words, if you have some excellence in, you're just so much bigger than the other team that you can kind of just push them forward, that works out. But everyone's so equal in parity today in the NFL. What happens is it starts to snow like that and everything kind of just washes down and very little gets done, which is exactly what happened.
All right, let's play the what-if game, which is always a little unfair, but we'll do it anyway. Do the Broncos win that game with Bo Nix because he can run and Stidham didn't seem to be able to run?
Yeah, they had to really limit. I gave Sean a lot of credit for trying to put him in a spot to be successful, and I thought early he was. It was super fun to watch him under that kind of pressure, to throw the touchdown pass, the play that set up to Mims, and handle it and not just collapse. I mean, you haven't thrown a ball in a game and then you're playing the championship game. I mean, it was a big ask, a huge ask. And I thought he performed okay, like he survived. And by the end of it, he became part of the reason that they got beat. But the fact that he held it off for so long, I give him a lot of credit. And yes, you have a guy that's fought 16, 17 games, 18 now games into a season, battled, led, dominated in many ways. It's a huge difference. Don't kid yourself. I mean, it's not what if. It's no question. No question it's different. And then Sean Payton can then now go call plays that can attack. and it's not 7 points. It's, it's 30. So, I mean, life is what it is. It's like reality is reality, but there's no question it's a huge, huge thing.
All right, so snow never takes anybody by surprise, and especially with the advanced meteorological stuff that they have, they knew it was going to snow in the second half. That being said, and I understand I cover baseball. You know this, Steve. People are addicted to analytics, and they're slaves to it. Was it the wrong move to go for it rather than kick the field goal and go up 10-0 when you knew the storm was impending and you have a great defense?
You and I have talked about this at length. So if it's 4th and 1 and it's not necessarily it's football. I mean, in baseball you can do all that and really kind of follow it. Football has to be a gut check. It has to be contextual. It has to be in the moment. In the moment, if you have a 4th and 1 play that you love with a quarterback that hasn't played for a long time, then run it. I'm okay with that. But if you don't have a great play that you want, you're just going to do it because analytics say to go for it. That's stupid. And so in that way, if you get a lie detector test and say, Sean Payton, do you have a play that you love with a quarterback that hasn't played at all in a championship game on 4th and 1, then run it. I'm okay with that. And if he passes the lie detector test, yeah, I had that, then we're good. But if not, you're absolutely right. How many times have we seen it? Look at Dan Campbell in the championship game against the 49ers and up 24-7 and can't kick a field goal because somehow either the analytics or that's just who we are. If that's who you are, then you're not going to win a Super Bowl. And so, yeah, it falls either way. But to me, the true question is the lie detector test to Sean Payton. Is this a play that you love in the context?
All right, now Drake May wins the game with that naked bootleg. Do you believe what's coming out, Steve, that he didn't tell his offensive lineman, he called it himself, he didn't tell anybody? How often does that happen where you don't tell anybody what you're going to do?
I suspect that came from the sidelines, and they say, just don't tell him, just call the play and then keep it, If he did it on his own, ballsy move, right? I mean, but in a way, it is the move to make. And so I either gave Drake great credit or the sideline great credit for making that call because you want everyone else to run the play because that's how it works. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it doesn't work. And I think that's a smart move to just be the only person that understands it.
How do you think he played overall? Again, you've got to factor in the snow mid-third until the end of the game. How do you think he played?
I mean, a young guy in championship football, I thought it was okay. I mean, I think he'll take that with a win because when you win, it makes everything okay.
Right.
It makes everything kind of worth, and if you don't win, everything's terrible. And so I think he can take it with a win and say, look, I've been in championship games on the road. I've been in snow. I've been in tough spots. My teammates, we've been on the ropes, and we answered. And that's a huge amount of money to put in the bank for the future, for his career, for what you could always lean on that for a long time. So rather than parse through throw by throw and how, he played well enough to win a championship game on the road, and now he can put in the bank because he's going to play better and better. He's going to get better.
But would you agree, Steve, that he has not played great so far in the postseason?
Yeah, but, I mean, again, this is the pressure test. This is that filter you got to go through. And, if you, let's say, oh, he was dominating. Well, then great. But that's not where he is right now. He's still trying to build a career, and he's amazing. He should have won the MVP. He's doing amazing. And let him find ways to win with that team and continue to grow. Because whatever you see in championship football today, he's only going to get better at it. So, don't over-rotate on analyzing the young Drake May. Everything you see from this kid has ended up being more and more positive. And so now as it gets into the Super Bowl, I suspect I don't know how expansive, but I think he can build off of going on the road in the championship game. He might have some relief and actually be able to really exploit and expand in the Super Bowl. I mean, I can see that happening with Drake. So anybody that wants to nick and knack at Drake May, go ahead. Knock yourself out. There's nothing there. It's all good. And it's all going to get only better.
Well, he's going to face the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. Let's talk about Rams-Seahawks. couple of questions I have. When they score the touchdown to make it 31-26, should the Rams have gone for 2 points to make it a field goal game?
Yeah. Because in a way, the Rams are the highest scoring team in the league. They have such confidence, especially with a closer like Matthew Stafford. They have continually, and in the playoffs, under duress, answer the bell. So, it's not as vital, but because if you're down 4 or 5, what does it matter?
Right? No matter.
And so in that way, go for 2 so that you can kick a field goal. I think that that's just who, in a way, it reflects who they are. They're like, I don't know that Sean McVay said, I don't care, we're scoring 14 more. You know what I mean? Like it's in a way that's who you are, and I don't think it ended up costing them, but yeah, I think you go for 2 there for sure.
All right. So the other question I have, I think it was about 3:30 left. They're down near the end zone. It's 4th and 4, I think, and they went for it.
Yeah.
How about kicking a field goal there? So
yeah,
I would
as powerful and explosive as they are, I would have kicked a field goal. Again, I think it's reflective, and this is a little different than Dan Campbell not kicking a field goal because he's just, I'm Mr. Aggressive. This is really tactical. And again, a play that you love, and especially with the innovative play callers that they are, like with Sean Payton and Sean McVay. I say Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid are the OGs of innovation in this generation. Like, I'm going to lean into those OGs. Like, they're the ones. And if they want to go with on 4th and 4 because they think they have a great play with a Hall of Fame quarterback, I'm good. So it's like we can look back and go, that I would have kicked a field goal. Even though I am saying I would have, you got to put it in context, right? Who these guys are and how successful they are, and who, how they feel like they can dominate the game, and they got caught at it. So that makes them look like the wrong decision, but in a way, that's who they are.
All right, so Sam Darnold was amazing, 346 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions. Used to be on our show when Sam was a Jet. Did you ever think he could be this good? Do you think that the Jets have the malpractice in not having him be good, or was he just struggling at the time?
Well, that's a rhetorical question, right? I mean, you know the answer to it. I mean, the Jets are the place where quarterbacks go to die. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, and the owner and everyone else has got to answer for that over the years. But that's not making Sam not responsible. He's accountable for his play at the Jets. He didn't play well. He got kicked out of town. And so, I can say that from outside in. But for Sam, he didn't send us signals that he was going to be okay. And in Carolina, he did the same. It's like, I'm not sure he's going to be okay. I'm not so, and I think even Sam was not sure. But then he got to one of the places in the league with a leader, a coach, an innovator, and I say the OGs, the guys that are taking advantage of the rules today and making the job for quarterback as easy as possible and hard on the defense. He gets to Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers, and the clouds part, the sky opens, the sun shines. He's like, oh. And now all of a sudden, you know what? If I'm in the right place, the right kind of help, I can be great. And so what does he do? He doesn't stick around. He goes to another guy in Minnesota that has from the same tree, the same fruit of the same tree, and wins 14 games. Now, the playoffs, he gets run over. Okay. But what does Seattle say? They're saying that we're in the same West Coast tree. We believe in this guy. And he wins 14 more. And now he looks like he's going to win a Super Bowl. And you say, well, looking back at the Jets, would you have known that? But that just shows you, Michael, that in football, I don't care who you are, you need help. You need a coach or an owner or organization that understands the position of quarterback and can put you in a spot to be successful. It does not mean that you're not accountable. It does not mean that you have to pull your weight, but to really go the distance, you need it to come together.
If you're a guy on the Seahawks and you just have a big third down stop, and then Tyreek Woolen is barking at the Rams sideline and gets a flag, and then the next play they score, how red hot would you be? And as a quarterback, a leader of the team, would you get in his face, or is that up to the coach to do it?
They're lucky. He's lucky that they didn't just tell him to leave.
Right. That's what I would have done. That's why I can't coach.
Under that circumstance, that is the ultimate malpractice. that is the ultimate, like, he's so lucky that he got away and won that game. I mean, it would have changed his life forever. One stupid move. It just shows you in life. And that's a metaphor. And that's why I love football. It's such a metaphor for life in general. Like, you've got to stay buttoned up because one stupid move in your life and it changed it forever. And it would have changed it forever. You could see that sideline was hot. And I give them a lot of credit and maturity for not, like, doing something crazy on them, because that was the game. If they have the punt right there, things get significantly better. And then to have the next play be a touchdown. I mean, you have to, look, the thing you can't do, Michael, is then you lose, like the rest of the team or a quarterback or a coach, or you've got to stay in the moment too. Like, in other words, yeah, he screwed up, we're moving on. And I give them a lot of credit in doing that. But he's so lucky to get him. I feel bad for the punt return for the Rams because but it was early in the game, so it's a little easier. But with the game on the line, that was brutal.
How good, Steve, is Jackson Smith-Njigba?
So he is sneaky amazing. Like, he's so good that you don't, because his size isn't like Calvin Johnson or Jerry Rice or Terrell Owens, or, it's like you don't necessarily see him for who he really is. If you watch, did you watch him in the air? Like, he's like Baryshnikov. His body control and his movements are so subtle and so quick. And it's not just quickness. It's under control, and it's changed of direction. Like, you can't cover him. When he played the 49ers in the last game, I was there, standing right next to him, and he caught a little flat, made the guy miss, and just went down the sidelines, and he stepped out by a quarter inch who would have scored. And you're like, oh, he moves way different than anybody else. But the elite athletes, there's such elite athletes in this, everyone who plays is an elite athlete in the NFL. And he is different. He's different. He is somebody that is better. I think I said, you make a case for him to be the MVP of the league. I guess that's who he's going to be in the future. He's that good.
Now, before I let you go, and we'll talk about this more next Monday, it sounds to me, listening to Steve Young, that you like the Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I do, but I guess it's recency bias too. I saw them with the 49ers up close and personal, two games in the last month, and they're that good defensively. And Matthew Stafford is one of the rare guys that could take advantage and get, can do something to that defense. So I feel like if Drake May is Superman at a young age, like Dan Marino, when he went to the Super Bowl, like all of a sudden, he ran into the 49ers back in 1983, and it didn't go so well, right? And so if Drake can be, but I think it's hard thing to ask for him right now. And so I think if the Seattle defense is, within range of who they have been for 5 months, and Sam doesn't turn it over 4 times, which he has not done, they're going to be, look, they can get beat, but it's going to be super hard.
We'll talk more about it next week. Thanks so much, Steve.
Okay. See you guys.
All right. That's Steve Young, the Hall of Famer. Good stuff from him. News just broke that I'm what's the word? Startled, befuddled, just out of my mind about. It's so outrageous that it almost makes the event that's going to happen worthy of being canceled. Intrigued? Find out what I'm talking about. Come on back. The K Show until 3 right here on ESPN New York.
Hey, sorry I missed you. Your call is very important to me. Just not as important as the New Jersey Lottery's Green Ball promotion being back on Pick 3 evening drawings. See, if the green ball's drawn, that's a free second chance to win. So, yeah, you get it. It's only through February 1st, though, so try me after then.
Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. For game odds and promotion details, visit njlottery.com/pick3.
New year, new season, same goal.
feel good and stay in the game. But if neck pain, back pain, joint pain, or sciatica is holding you back, it's time to handle it. I'm Bart Scott, and I'm telling you to call Dr. Jay Shaw at Soundwell Pain. Dr. Shaw is an Ivy League trained, double board certified, and he specializes in getting people back to living pain-free. No surgery, no scars, no long recovery, no pain medication. Just precise, non-surgical, image-guided treatments that work. Same-day or next-day appointments are available with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood. Stop playing through pain. Go to SoundwellPain.com. Relief starts today.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique personal injury and workers' compensation laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling all types of accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for injured New Yorkers. From construction to car accidents and slips and falls, they've got you covered. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS, where your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff. The final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, make it count. Because after the Super Bowl, the season's over. And football is officially done. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. 21 plus and physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
There are a lot of reasons why people buy at Ramsey Mazda. It's their selection, it's their customer service, and it's their savings. Lease a new 2025 Mazda CX-50 2.5S Select with all-wheel drive for $179 for 33 months. Or buy with 0.9% APR financing for 72 months. Start shopping now at RamseyMazda.com. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda. Call 833-853-2970 for lease details. VIN SN379853 MSRP $33,425. Zero security deposit. APR $14.27 per month for $1,000 finance, ends 2/2/26.
Looking for the best meat and seafood at unbeatable prices? Get to Wild Fork Foods. They offer the widest selection of meats and seafoods you'll find anywhere. Everything is blast frozen to lock in flavor and nutrients. From beef and poultry to seafood, pork, and even exotic and game meats, you'll get the best value for your buck. Visit one of their 7 locations across Long Island and New Jersey, or order online for same-day delivery at wildforkfoods.com. Wild Fork Foods, your neighborhood's meat and seafood market.
Save more on the brands pros trust at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances and choose from our wide lineup of top brands. Plus, save $100 on a Little Giant 22-foot multi-position ladder, now just $189. Built for strength, flexibility, and job site versatility. Pros, these savings will only be here for a limited time. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 1/30. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Smalls here. Life is full of choices, some big, some small. And when you choose an H&R Block Tax Pro, you're choosing the largest network of tax expertise to be in your corner. For when your big ambitions need help with the small details. For when your 6 figures come from 6 different places. For when your gaming stream becomes your revenue stream. For when your business's year 1 needs 70 years of tax know-how. At H&R Block, they've seen it all. And they're here to help you make the most out of your money for life outside the box.
In the city that never sleeps and never stops talking sports, ESPN New York is always on. Now you can live and breathe everything New York sports wherever you are. On your radio dial, on the ESPN New York app, and streaming live on YouTube. However you watch or listen, ESPN New York is always on for you. Hear us, stream us, watch us. This is ESPN New York.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. The Pro Bowl to me has always been a joke. When it was tackle football, it was a total joke. When it went to flag football, I mean, what are we doing? Now, it's hard for me to sit here and say you should abolish it simply because of the fact that I'm a realist. It still gets ratings. It gets ratings better than regular season NBA and Major League Baseball games. It gets a 6. It's unheard of. It's a joke. But it becomes more of a joke when you consider that Shedeur Sanders has been added to the Pro Bowl roster as a replacement in the AFC Pro Bowl. He had 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. In what world is he essentially an all-star? So the AFC Pro Bowl quarterbacks were Drake May, he's going to the Super Bowl, Josh Allen, and Justin Herbert. Well, they're saying that Allen and Herbert are banged up. Bo Nix got injured. Patrick Mahomes is injured. Daniel Jones is injured. And it trickles down to Shedeur Sanders. I mean, are we kidding ourselves here? So Shedeur Sanders could hang his hat on the fact that he's a Pro Bowl player in 2025-26. In what world? A guy with 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. How is he celebrated as a Pro Bowl player? It's incomprehensible. Now, we know Knicks can't play, broke his ankle. Mahomes had a major injury. Daniel Jones, a major injury. You tell me Josh Allen and Justin Herbert are not healthy enough to play, that they passed the torch down to Shedeur Sanders. This is nothing against the kid. He had a rough first year. Didn't seem like he jived with the quarterback, with the coach, Kevin Stefanski. Lasted all the way to the 5th round. By the way, the first 5th rounder to make the Pro Bowl since Puka Nacua. Imagine that Nacua fell to the 5th round. But you don't get to celebrate yourself as a Pro Bowl player when you throw 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. You just don't. How is that so? Jackson Dart and Tyler Shook had better years than Shedeur Sanders. I mean, you look at Jackson Dart's stats, they're much better than Shedeur Sanders. Now, he's in the NFC, so is Shook. But I'm just saying, they're not in the Pro Bowl. This guy is. Greg in the work truck. Greg.
How's it going, Michael?
Good. How are you, Greg?
Doing all right, my man. Doing all right.
Good. Excellent.
I'm on board with you. How does Sanders get into the Pro Bowl when, I don't know, guys like Rodgers, Herbert even, or others, like you mentioned, they should even be considered. But then again, this is the Pro Bowl where it's now just a glorified flag football game instead of it being the way it was, where it was, yeah, guys are dogging it, but at least you got to see a halfway decent football game.
Yeah, listen, the first reaction, Greg, is that it shouldn't be taking place. But the real reaction, if you're the NFL, it gets ratings. It does. So why would they kill it? And in a flag football setting, maybe Shedeur Sanders is great. Maybe he ends up winning the MVP. But you go up and down the AFC and you can't find a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. Aaron Rodgers had a better year than Shedeur Sanders. He's in the AFC. But he's not going to go to a Pro Bowl. He doesn't need that. He doesn't. You go up and down the rosters of teams. Shedeur Sanders is the best you could do? The best you could do. I don't know. It just turns a ridiculous game into more ridiculousness. Brian Costello covers the Jets for the Post, going to join us in just a moment. Hey, it's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure that you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, make it count. Because after the Super Bowl, the season's over, and football is officially done. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. 21 plus, physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Murray to the net. Score! The New York Islanders are back in action with a brand new theme night schedule you won't want to miss. Bring your friends out for the holidays and take home a custom holiday replica jersey or arrive early for special bobblehead giveaway nights for Matt Barzell and Bo Horvat.
Barzell for Horvat, score!
Explore the full theme night schedule at NewYorkIslanders.com.
Not all F words are bad. Some are actually great, like fast, free fiber for 4 months. Yep, switch to Optimum Fiber for as low as $25 a month. Plus, for a limited time, you can get 4 months free, HBO Max included for 1 year, and a 5-year price lock. Don't wait, this free fiber deal won't last long, and the fastest, most reliable, most consistent internet speeds await you. Call 888-4-OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com/free today. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
Hey, this is Mika Zibanejad.
Hey, this is Adam Fox. Catch every Rangers game right here on 880 ESPN.
WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
More people trust their hearts to New York Presbyterian than any other hospital in New York. It's because New York Presbyterian has the most experienced cardiovascular doctors, treating a full range of heart conditions, from heart failure to valve repair, with the most advanced treatments. Find a doctor at nyp.org/heart. New York Presbyterian. New York Presbyterian Hospital, based on U.S. News & World Report 2025 to 2026 cardiology, heart, and vascular surgery rankings.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a time out to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering buy one, get one 50% off and every day 0% financing. Some restrictions may apply. See store for details. Offer ends January 31st, 2026.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Sam Darnold is going to the Super Bowl, and there is some revisionist history going on about how could the Jets have let him go, but you heard what Steve Young said, and I said it earlier. He didn't play well for the Jets. Now, the Jets probably put a situation together where he couldn't play well. But let's bring in Brian Costello. He was there. He saw it. He documented it for the New York Post, and he joins us now. Brian, how you doing?
I'm good, Michael. How are you?
Good. Let's start off because we used to have him on as a weekly, and he was really a delightful, terrific young man. In your experience with Sam, what kind of guy was he?
Great guy. Tremendous guy. I mean, the Post sent me out to USC the year before he was drafted. Because remember, 2017, we kind of knew the direction the Jets were going, and he was the hot quarterback after that game against Penn State in the Rose Bowl. So I went out there and spent time with him at USC, and, I mean, I was blown away by just how mature he was and what a great guy he was, and he was like that the whole time with the Jets, which is why I don't think you can find Jets fans that are upset with Sam or rooting against Sam in this thing. I think fans felt that way. I've heard from a bunch of people this morning that were with the Jets back then who were, talking about how they're so happy for the kid that he's developed into this and made it to the Super Bowl.
All right, so you documented every play that he played for the Jets. What went wrong? Whose fault was it? And does Sam deserve some of the blame?
Yeah, so I've actually spent the morning and afternoon writing a column for the Post about the trade and, looking back at it now. And so I read a lot from that I wrote back in 2021, 2018, all over the place. There's a lot of blame to go around, Michael. I mean, the Jets were not in a position for him to succeed. I mean, that's clear. They did not have very good players around him. They did not have good coaching during his time here. But also, Sam didn't play very well. I had a stat from back at the time of the trade that I dug up again, from 2018 to 2020, the time that Sam was here. They were 42 quarterbacks who threw 500 passes. Sam ranked 41st in QB rating out of those 42 quarterbacks. So it wasn't like he was 20th. He was 41st. Josh Rosen was the only one below him. So, he did not play well here. And by the end of it, Michael, if you remember that 2020 horrible 2020 season, there were people inside the Jets who kind of felt like Sam was broken and it wasn't going to happen here. It was just not going to be fixed here. And that was part of the reason they moved on from him.
Now, there are stories that are coming out, and I wonder if they're apocryphal or if it's revisionist history, that Joe Douglas didn't want to trade him, wanted to hold on to him and trade the pick that they used on Zach Wilson, but that Woody insisted they take Zach Wilson. Is that true?
No, that's not true. Every person involved wanted to draft Zach Wilson by the end. There were conversations, obviously, from the time, Robert Saleh came in end of January. So they had meetings and conversations involving Woody Johnson, involving Joe Douglas, involving the offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur at the time, Saleh, Greg Knapp was there at the time. So they debated this, but by the end, they were all on board with Zach Wilson. One thing on the trade thing, Michael, because you hear that all the time, the Jets should have traded back because it's easy to say now they could have Jamar Chase, right?
Right.
No one offered the Jets a trade that spring. And I double-checked this with two people this morning who would have known. There was nobody who was interested in trading because I think Joe Douglas would have listened. I'm not saying he would have done it. I'm not saying he wanted to trade that pick because that's different. I think he would have listened to it and considered all options. But no one, not even the 49ers who moved up to 3, ever called the Jets to discuss a trade. So I don't think they felt like there was the trade option was there at the time. But by the end of this, by the time they decided to trade Sam Darnold, they were all in lockstep on drafting Zach Wilson.
All right, so we're talking about Brian Costello of the New York Post here on the show. In 5 years, are we talking on the radio show about, wow, Zach Wilson's leading a team to the Super Bowl? Or because Steve Young has been, he just said it like 20 minutes ago, quarterbacks go to the Jets to die. So I don't know where you place a lot of the blame. Zach Wilson, to me, never had anything. Zach Wilson looked terrible. Sam Darnold at times looked okay. But could it be possible that Zach Wilson could do something?
Anything's possible, Michael, but I highly doubt that. If you had to if you had came to me in 2021 and said, you think if Sam Darnold is on a really good team with a really good defense, good receivers, good coaching, good offensive line, he can succeed, I would have said yes. I wrote it. I just read it. I said he's never going to be a top 5 quarterback. I don't think that was ever going to be Sam. But if Sam's in the right situation, he can succeed. We saw it with the Jets at times. There were throws that were incredible. There were games, if you remember, he played an overtime game against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers his rookie year where he played really, really well. There was a win in Buffalo that was really impressive. There were times where you saw it. And as somebody who watched all those training camp practices, there were training camps where it looked like, wow, they might have it right with this guy. He looks so good. I never felt that way about Zach Wilson. Now, there were some throws, I guess you could say, but there's not a signature Zach Wilson game where you're like, man, that guy really just played incredible at that game. And watching him in training camp, I never really felt like they've got it, like this is the guy. So I would be surprised if Zach follows this path. But, anything's possible, I guess. And if he ended up in a really good situation, maybe that would happen. But I think Sam, I always felt like Sam was more talented than Zach.
The seeing ghost comment, was that the beginning of the end for him where he was not going to be able to get back out after that?
I don't think it was the beginning of the end. That was, October of 2019, so he played another year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Michael, the part, if you could rewrite history a little bit, like if you go back and change things, could he not get mono at the beginning of that first season with Gase, with 2019? Because I thought they had a chance to do some things that season, that team wasn't so bad roster-wise as the one the next year. The 2020 roster was really bad. So, but he comes out, they lose that first game by a point against Buffalo, where they had major kicking issues in that game. Turns out he has mono a few days later. Maybe he had mono in that game. He ends up missing the next 3 games, and the Jets lose, and it just kind of never really got on track after that. But I don't think it was over with Sam, until that 2020 season. And that season he had 9 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. So that's another part of this kind of revisionist history of, they should have kept him. Like, it was hard to make that case in the spring of 21, Michael. There weren't a lot of people making it that the Jets should hold on to Sam Darnold.
Yeah, but let me make a case, though, Brian, see if you follow me. So you said he had 9 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. Shedeur Sanders, 7 TDs and 10 interceptions. He just made the Pro Bowl, so you never know, right? You never know.
I'm waiting to see, Michael, if Justin Fields makes it next. I'm sitting by my phone to see if that happens.
Do you believe? I'm going to ask you to put yourself in Woody Johnson's mind. Is he happy for Sam Darnold, or is he embarrassed?
Happy. Yeah, I
Really?
think anyone you talk to is happy for Sam Darnold. I don't think they're embarrassed. That's not the right word. I do think there's a tinge of damn, this really happens, But also, Michael, the other part of this you have to think about. He when did it click for him? Was last year really with the Vikings, 24. That's 7 years. Is any organization waiting 7 years to see if the quarterback develops? That's deep into a second contract. I think it's a lot to ask. So I think, and I haven't talked to Woody or anything. I'm sure he's very happy for Sam, though, because other people I've talked to today that were with the Jets then, some still with the Jets, are thrilled for him just because, like we said at the top, he's a really good guy.
Shift to some other Jet stories. Saleh, did you expect him to get another head coaching job this soon?
I thought there was a chance. I thought he'd get interviews for sure, and Robert is a very impressive guy in person. He's a very good, very charismatic guy when you talk to him and sit in a room with him. So I was like, he might get in front of an owner and a GM and wow them to where they hire him. So, I'm not totally shocked that he got a job.
All right. So do you believe that, there's a lot of Jet fans, you get emails, you see social media that wanted the Jets to move on from Aaron Glenn after this first year. Was that ever a possibility? The Jets ever consider that?
I don't think so, Michael. He's getting paid a lot of money. I think it would have been a huge buyout for him. And I also think they told you where they were going at the trade deadline, right? Mm-hmm. When they made those moves, that was to me, okay, they're turning the page to 2027. And if you're Aaron Glenn, Darren Musi, you're sitting there going, okay, we're okay though, right? You're going to be okay with how this looks down the stretch without our 2 best defensive players. I think there must have been some assurances given at that point that, we understand what it's going to look like, but we want to do this to get all the draft picks. And where 2026 and 2027 is where the focus is at right now.
All right. So you, again, I'll mention, you see every play from, training camp on. Did he have as bad a year as all of us think he had?
I think it's gotten a little blown out now. It's probably not as bad as we saying, Michael, but it was bad. It was a really bad year. It's hard to find anything that really went well outside of special teams, right? You go back to that, and he deserves credit for hiring the special teams coordinator and emphasizing it, but there's nothing about this team offensively or defensively that you can hang your hat on off of 2025. So it was very bad. I do think you can learn from mistakes, though, Michael, and I do think, people need to give him a chance here that he's coming back. Let's see if he learns from it. Let's see if he can improve in year 2.
One thing that gets me, he fires all these assistant coaches, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're, in his camp, you go, you know what? He didn't compound his mistake by staying with him. Okay. But if you're against him, you go, okay, the guy who picked all these coaches that he got rid of, he's picking the new coaches. So why is he going to be better at picking coaches this time than he was the first time?
Yeah, I get it. I think the argument would be I think it's easier this time around, Michael, because that's a really tricky thing when you're hired as a coach is putting the staff together, because you think of all the moving pieces that are going on at that time, right? He's interviewing for all these different jobs. He's also coaching the Lions at the time who were in the playoffs. And then you get hired and it's like, okay, now you got to hire a staff from scratch, basically. He kept one assistant from Saleh. So you're reaching out to these people and they have other opportunities. They might be going with a different coach. They might be staying where they are. I think it's a huge challenge for that first-time coach. So this time around, he had to have been contemplating this for a while. I do find the timing kind of strange, Michael, that he waited till Friday to fire all these people, because he could have done it a couple days after the season and had more of a jump start on this process. But you hope that he has people in mind for these jobs now, and he kind of, he has a year on the job. He understands more. Maybe he understands more what all these coaches do and what he needs from them on his staff. So that'd be me giving the benefit of the doubt argument there.
Brian Costello covers the Jets for the Post. He's our guest here on the K Show. Another thing that I have a problem with, Muji and Glenn are going to pick the quarterback. Well, they picked the quarterback last year. What quarterback is going to be picked?
Yeah, it's obviously they whipped pretty hard on their first attempt with Justin Fields. So I get it. I get the skepticism, but you only have to be right about it once. If you get that guy in here and he's good, forget about it. And I think there are examples, Michael, of guys who have missed and then found their quarterback. So I think they just got to keep taking as many cracks at it as they can. I think even this year, you can't just bring in one quarterback. You should be drafting a quarterback, bringing in a veteran quarterback, maybe bringing in a second veteran quarterback. Just get as many guys in here as you can. And I think with quarterback position, you just have to take a ton of swings and hope you connect on one.
You don't believe that they would pick a quarterback in the first round, do you?
I think it's possible. You mean at 16? You mean the second pick? Yeah.
Not
I think
the
it's
second
possible.
pick. I don't think Ty Simpson's the second pick.
Yeah, Ty Simpson's not going number 2 overall unless, look, crazy things happen in the draft, but I don't think that's happening. But 16, I think is possible. Like, you know how this works. The quarterbacks, they get better from now until April. They don't get worse.
Right.
It's a pretty remarkable thing that you play your last game in December or the first week of January, and then all of a sudden you get better and better and better. So these quarterbacks will rise up the board. So I wouldn't be shocked if we're talking about Ty Simpson 16, and who knows if Trinidad Chambliss ends up losing his court case with the NCAA and he ends up in the draft, he could be in the conversation there, or is it a situation where they do the Giants move and they try to move up into the 20s to take one of those guys? I think that's definitely possible.
Do you think the leash is shorter on Glenn this year where they would get rid of him after the second year? Because, the one thing I'd fight you on with, it would cost a lot of money. It cost Robert Kraft a lot of money to get rid of Gerard Mayo, and it worked out for him. And there were so many coaches that were available in this coaching hire or cycle, and the Jets decided to stay with him because of money. It's a little odd.
I think there's a shorter leash. I don't think it's just money, Michael, but I think money made it like there was no doubt. He got paid more than Gerard Mayo. The Patriots system thing was very unique, right? Because all of a sudden there's this guy out there who played for you, who loves the organization. He had been there the year before at a halftime ceremony, talking about it was the greatest place he ever was, and he was the coach of another team at the time. So he's out there. He was out there for a year, right? He remember Mike Vrabel wasn't fired after last season. He was fired 2 years ago. So he was out there. So that was kind of a unique situation. I'm not sure the Jets have an equivalent because, like you said, there was great coaches out there. But was John Harbaugh, like if the Jets had decided to fire Aaron Glenn, was John Harbaugh going to come to the Jets or the Giants? Which job is better?
Right.
The Giants, right? They have Jackson Dart, right? They have Jackson Dart. So the Jets, it's not an attractive job right now. So I don't think the argument of this guy was out there, I think it's a very tough sell for anyone here right now. I do think he's on a shorter leash for year 2. I think he's got to win games this year. I don't think they can have another season like they had last year. He survives that. I don't care how much money he's getting paid. Eventually, Woody Johnson is going to run out of patience and is going to make a move.
Are he and Muji tied together? Because it seemed to me that Muji works for him because he was hired first and then Muji comes in. So are they tied together?
I don't think they're necessarily tied together. They did come in together, but I don't necessarily think they'd have to both be fired. I think if Woody Johnson looks at it and thinks that Muji has done a good job with the player acquisition, and at that, he has another draft coming up. Does he feel good about the draft picks that he's brought in and the trades he's made? I think he could stay. It seems like that's sort of the trend around the NFL right now. Is some of these GMs survive when the head coaches don't. Mm-hmm. And I think GMs get a longer runway. I don't think it's be unusual after 2 years to fire a GM. Of course, he did it once before with John Idzik, but I don't think they're necessarily tied together.
So we have a Darnold story coming tomorrow in the Post. Is that what I'm assuming?
I think multiple. I think you might get a Mr. Vaccaro story on Darnold too. So I think there'll be I think there'll be plenty of Sam Darnold in the post over the next 2 weeks, Michael. That's my sense.
Sounds good. Brian, thank you so much, and enjoy the Super Bowl.
All right, Michael. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Hey, Game Time is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 7 p.m., the Rangers host the Bruins at Madison Square Garden. Coverage begins at 6:30. That'll be right here on ESPN New York. Also at 7 p.m., Islanders are in Philadelphia to play the Flyers. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glass up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Now, you know, what Brian just said makes a lot of sense. And it also kind of screams out, you got to be really careful about hiring new coaches, new head coaches that have never been head coaches before. Now, you could say, well, if you hire a former head coach, he's failed. Okay. Did John Harbaugh really fail? Did Mike McCarthy really fail with Dallas? I mean, they built teams that were consistently excellent that weren't good enough to win the Super Bowl. But when you hire a neophyte coach, who are his assistants going to be? It's going to be buddies of his that he's known throughout his professional life. And you're going to bring them in, and you're going to hope that they're good coaches. Again, he almost cleaned house. So we're going to now assume that Aaron is going to have an epiphany and be better at hiring assistant coaches. He has nobody to blame for the failure of the assistants that he just fired than himself. He hired them. He hired a defensive coordinator who he got rid of with about, 4 games left in the season that didn't align with his defensive philosophy. How should he not have known that Wilkes did not align with his defensive philosophy? Shouldn't that be the first thing that you want to align each other with what you believe in and how you run a defense and what that defense's philosophy is going to be? That's a bad look. And I'm not advocating for anybody to be fired, but everything he touched, except for the special teams, was an abject failure. The quarterback choice, abject failure. That's why the Jets were as bad as they were. Even though it was ill-timed and probably ill-conceived to say it, what Woody said about Justin Fields midseason was true. Things would be different if we had a quarterback that can complete a pass. This was the choice of Glenn. It's on his resume. He said that when he was defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, this guy was the toughest guy to game plan for. What? You can eliminate passing, so all you had a game plan for was running. So this is what he saw as not a viable quarterback, but this is our quarterback. And the defense is, well, they didn't give him a contract that's going to cripple them in terms of the salary cap. Okay, but you still chose him. That's the guy you chose. And all these assistant coaches that you fired, those are the guys you chose. So now you've had a come to Jesus moment. You finally have this clarity on a quarterback that you're going to pick and these coaches that you're going to pick. Tell me why you believe that way if you're a Jet fan. Do you feel hopeless? Do you feel hopeless right now? Because the same guys that gave you Justin Fields are the same guys that are going to bring you a new quarterback that might draft a quarterback. If they draft a quarterback, do you feel good when Aaron Glenn looked at Justin Fields and said, this is the guy? And you can say, well, there weren't a lot of guys out there. There were better guys than Justin Fields. Better guys than Justin Fields. So who do you go with? I'm not even criticizing letting Aaron Rodgers out of the building. I understand why they did it. They would have been better if they kept him, but I understand why they did it. But Justin Fields is the guy you chose. An abject flop. All these coaches that you fired on Friday, abject flops. And what's the fingerprint that each of these people have? Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji. So we have to expect, and we have to close our eyes and just believe that these guys got smarter over an awful season. Somehow they got smarter. And the money aspect, I'm sorry, Woody Johnson prints money. He is so, so rich. And if he really felt that Aaron Glenn was a mistake, then you eat the money you spent. Because I saw a quote today that Robert Kraft said the worst business decision that he made and the most money that he lost was in getting rid of Jared Mayo. Now, he wasn't signed for $10 million a year the way that Aaron Glenn was, but it was a significant amount of money, and he had to get rid of a lot of his assistants. And he did it because he felt it was the right thing to do. So if Woody still believes in Aaron Glenn, okay, I'll tap out and say, then you have to keep him. But if he kept him because he owes him $40 million for the next 4 years, and he's paid all of his assistants who have multi-year contracts, then that's the wrong reason. That's the wrong reason. So $40 million less, and let's say combine the coaches make another 20. $60 million. I'm sure that Woody has that in the ashtray of his car. Woody's richer than Robert Kraft. He is. He's richer than Robert Kraft. And another question I have to Woody, why would you give Aaron Glenn 5 years, $50 million? Based on what? Because he once played for the Jets and he wanted to coach the Jets when nobody really did? Bad business decision all around. If you kept them because you still believe in them, then I'm fine. But if you kept them because, well, it's too much money to eat, that's just awful. Awful. You have too much money to be that cheap. But again, people with a lot of money don't want to pay taxes, so what do I know? 1-800-919-3776. So much more to talk about. A former Yankee and Met has signed a contract to play elsewhere. We'll talk about that when we get back right here on the K Show, rolling till 3. At that time, Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg right here on ESPN New York.
For 100 days, I'm going to cross the 7 continents because the answers to everything important are out there at the edges of our world. I'm stepping into the unknown. Where are we going? To see our planet
This is amazing.
As it's never been seen before. From pole to pole.
Pole to Pole with Will Smith from National Geographic. Now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Show me the way.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
There are a lot of reasons why people buy at Ramsey Mazda. It's their selection, it's their customer service, and it's their savings. Lease a new 2025 Mazda CX-30 2.5S all-wheel drive for $189 for 33 months. Start shopping now at RamseyMazda.com. Choose wisely, choose Ramsey Mazda. Call 833-853-2970 for details. VIN SM844-681, MSRP $29,075. Zero security deposit ends 2/2/26.
Listen, I know the mentality. You try to play through pain and walk it off. Push through one more day. But when it comes to neck pain, back pain, sciatica, or nerve pain, that's a losing game. That's when you call Dr. J. Shaw at Sandwell Pain. Dr. Shaw is one of New Jersey's top pain specialists, Ivy League trained, double board certified, and he focuses on non-surgical solutions that get real results. No cuts, no downtime, no dependence on pain meds. He builds you a custom game plan for you so that you can move better, feel better, and live pain-free. Same day or next day appointments are available. Visit SandwellPain.com. Stop managing pain. Start beating it.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. That's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
ZipRecruiter. Rangers fans, shoot your shot with BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the New York Rangers. Add some excitement to every Rangers game this season by downloading the BetMGM app and getting instant access to a variety of parlay selection features and live betting options. Enjoy same-game parlays, player props, boosted odds specials, the best daily promotions in the business, and so much more when you sign up. The chase is on for the next Stanley Cup. So get hyped for Rangers action all season long with an official sports betting partner of the New York Rangers. Sign up today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older to wager and physically present in New York and New Jersey only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Gambling problem? In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In New Jersey, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood Prediction Markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood Prediction Markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
When it comes to meat and seafood, selection matters, and no one beats Wild Fork Foods. To everyday essentials, to high-quality steaks, to seafood and more, every product is blast frozen to lock in peak flavor and freshness so you get restaurant-quality meats at home for amazing prices. Shop in person at 7 locations across Long Island and New Jersey, or you can order online for same-day delivery. It's easy, it's convenient, and the prices are wild. WildForkFoods.com.
Empower. Pete's back on the links with all new golf clubs and hopefully less swearing.
Dang, sliced it.
He worked with Empower to help him get good at money so he can be a little bad.
Heads up!
Oof. Talent sold separately.
Guy said these were slice proof.
At least he has money for lessons. Invest well, live a little. Start today at Empower.com.
Out on the course, they're the PGA Tour's best players. But in the arena, they're prime time. And Season 2 of TGL presented by SoFi is back with lights, cameras, action. We're talking big moments, big personalities, big names in the stands, all on the big screen. Big-time matchups with shot clocks, hammer drops, timeouts, overtime, and playoffs. It's city versus city, squad versus squad. The sport just hits different under the lights. It's TGL presented by SoFi. Keep up. It's golf. Tune into every match. Only on ESPN.
So Mike Vrabel has had as many wins in about a month than the Titans have in the past 2 seasons combined since firing him. So since December 21st, he has 6 wins, and since they fired Vrabel, the Titans have 6 wins. That's odd. A little interesting tidbit. 5 schools have produced a U.S. president and a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Delaware, Biden and Flacco. Miami of Ohio, Harrison and Big Ben. Michigan, Ford and Brady. Stanford, Hoover, Elway and Plunkett. Navy, Carter and Staubach. And if Drake May wins this year, UNC will be the 6th. UNC produced the President James K. Polk. That's the kind of stuff we give you here. Kind of stuff. USC, by the way, has had 26 quarterbacks taken in the NFL draft. 26. Darnold is the first one of the 26 to go to a Super Bowl. First one of the 26 to go to a Super Bowl. All right, the Yankee and the Met that just signed a free agent contract is Harrison Bader, 2-year deal that could be worth about $21.5 million with the San Francisco Giants. The Yankees and the Mets supposedly were inquiring about Bader, but for both teams, he probably would have been coming off the bench. He wanted an opportunity to play and be the starting center fielder, which he will probably get with San Francisco. What I don't understand, is Bader a perfect player? No, he's not a perfect player. He's pretty good. Why it's always been so tough for him to get a long-term significant deal. You know, the one postseason he played with the Yankees, I think he had 5 home runs. He was money. Then last year, injured while playing for the Phillies, he was great in the postseason. He's an outstanding defensive player. His only issue is staying healthy. And he seems to just keep getting these $10 million contracts, which is great. You know, you're not exactly going to have to go on a food line. But I almost look at him as a player who should get maybe a little bit more respect, but he has not. But he does sign with the Giants, 2-year deal for about $21 million. Another thing I wanted to say about baseball, Paul Goldschmidt has come out and said that he wants to play in 2026. He hasn't signed with anybody at this point, but he wants to play in 2026. And what I would say, you know, he made $13 million with the Yankees last year. He's made a lot of money in his career, and I can't get into somebody's pocket, but I don't think anybody's going to dump a truckload of money on Paul Goldschmidt. I would, if I'm the Yankees, I would bring Goldschmidt back to be a dead bench player backing up Ben Rice against some tough left-handers. He had a .981 OPS against left-handed pitching. Goldschmidt did. He's a great leader in the clubhouse, pretty good defender as well. The one negative with Paul is that's really all he could do is play first base. And the Yankees like to have their bench players be bench players that can play other positions. That's why they value Caballero so much and Rosario and even Cabrera. They could all play the outfield if need be, and they could play several infield positions. Paul Goldschmidt, if you bring him back as a first baseman and a backup DH. But if you get him for what, $1.5 million, $2 million, I don't think it's bad to have a bat like that coming off the bench, pinch hit against lefties. I know he wore down at the end of the season. He certainly did. But at the beginning of the season, he played great. So maybe if you don't play him as much, he doesn't wear down. Obviously, he's an older player, but he can hit lefties. He can hit lefties. Let's go back to the phones. 1-800-919-3776. Paul in Staten Island. Paul.
Hey, Michael. How you doing?
I'm good, Paul. How you doing?
All right. Shoveling too much snow. But let me get back to what you were saying about Aaron Glenn and Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson has more money than God. Let's face it. So why can't we go get McDermott or Mike Tomlin? This is an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm a Jet fan for 50 years, and I can never get ahead of this thing. And they're not even talking about it. You're the only guy. You're the only guy, Michael.
It's a great question, and it's two-pronged, Paul. That's the way I look at it. If he doesn't want to get rid of he doesn't want to eat the money, then shame on him because, as you said, Woody Johnson is extraordinarily wealthy. But if he still believes in Glenn, I'm not a guy who wants to get rid of somebody after the first season. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair what they did to Wilkes in Arizona. I don't think it's fair what they did to Mayo in New England. But this was a hiring cycle where there were so many established coaches out there that if you were going to do it, you could do it this year. I just don't know the answer. They're probably going to say they still believe in him. Let's see. Because if he has a year like he did this year, in this upcoming season, they're going to have to get rid of him. And then you're still eating $30 million rather than $50, right? Let's go to David on the east side. David.
Michael, I just wanted to call to say congrats to Sam Darnold. Every Jets fan should be rooting for him. I agree with you that the Jets failed him by not giving him weapons or protections, and they just hired a terrible coach in Adam Gase. But to answer your question, yes, as a Jets fan, I am hopeless because it always comes back to the owner. The rod is at the top. Ambassador Johnson, by all accounts, is everything you don't want in an owner. He meddles in everything, even though he knows nothing about football. He is a spoiled billionaire who treats the team like it's his toy. I get that they all do that, but he takes it to another level. This guy traded down for the Mr. Irrelevant pick. He lets his son make roster decisions based on Madden ratings. Even if by some chance you can hire a coach or GM that wants to work for a guy like that, he's not going to put them in a position to succeed because he's going to stick his tentacles into everything. So I just have no hope as a Jets fan.
Well, it's hard for me to argue with you, David. And, when you say it, it's one thing. When I say it's another thing. When Steve Young says it, it's just institutional malpractice. He said bad teams are bad because their owners are bad. And, Woody Johnson's a nice enough guy. The times I've interacted with him, he certainly seems nice. He roams the parking lots at MetLife and talks to fans, which is more than a fan could expect from a lot of owners. but he does make impetuous decisions. Firing Robert Saleh at 2-3 was ridiculous. He gave up on a year and brought in Ulbrich, who was not ready to be a head coach. They weren't coached for the final 12 games of the season that year. And why he fired him at 2-3, I will never, ever know. It had to be a personality difference. It couldn't be that he was a bad coach, because when you look back at Robert Saleh's era, he got a lot out of nothing. I'm not saying he's a great coach. I'm not saying that Tennessee made a great move hiring him. But I think he was, running against history. That's not a great history the Jets have. Let's go to Rico in Buffalo.
Michael, how are you, buddy?
Good, Rico. What's up?
I think that anybody that doesn't think that there should be a mandate for a retractable roof in the NFL and MLB is an imbecile. Okay? You hear this logic, and I just heard it from you, Michael, a little while ago. Well, that's the good old days. What good old days? What? You can talk about a handful of games played in frozen tundra? Baseball, the boys of summer, really? The World Series at times is played in the snow.
Well, let me stop
ridiculous.
you, Rico. Why did Buffalo build the stadium without a retractable roof?
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Michael. You're absolutely right. Because the owner is an imbecile and because the politicians are crooked. That's why. Buffalo should have a retractable roof. And Michael, you call all those baseball games. I'm a baseball guy. You're a baseball guy. I went to 162 games a year. And, enjoy all summer long. And then we get to the playoffs and games are being rained out to midnight and all this other crap. And then you said that they should play in the order that they finished. Well, then if that's the way it's going to be, start the NFL season in December. Game one should be in December. Well, because they could play the whole season in bad weather.
Well, I listen. I know what you're saying because the last quarter and a half of Patriots Broncos was a joke. The greatness of those teams did not come out. I'm not of having to play it in a dome. I'm not of putting it in a neutral site that's warm. No. If you earned it, you earned it. I just believe that, especially in baseball, more in football. Football you could play in inclement weather, not as bad as it was yesterday, but you can. Baseball missed the boat. I've said this over and over and over again. Not having retractable roofs for every new ballpark that was built over the last 20 years. Makes no sense. Because right now, you get rain delays and cancellations, and we could still be playing baseball in 1947 in Sportsman Park. Nothing has changed. And the technology is there. Now, I give credit to the Yankees and the Mets. They were both building retractable roof stadium when 9/11 hit. And then everything went by the board, and then the Mets and the Yankees essentially paid for their ballparks. And from what I'm told, a retractable roof costs like $250, $400 million. And since both teams paid for the ballpark, now they do get tax breaks, they don't want to invest that. And the way they look at it, well, how many rainouts are there? But the way I look at it is you had a retractable roof ballpark, either Yankee Stadium or Citi Field. You got the Final Four here. There's concerts that you could have every single day during the winter. You can't do that with open-air ballparks. But baseball missed the mark. As for football, I don't know if you can justify it financially when the most you're going to have is 8 or 9 games at home, other than the exhibition games. Is it financially worthwhile? I don't know. So I just don't think they're going to do that so that you don't play in snow every now and then. And the thing I disagree with Rico on is that there have been some memorable games played in cold weather. That's part of the charm of football. I mentioned them before, the Ice Bowl, the game in Green Bay when Tom Coughlин's face looked like it was going to fall off from being frozen. And there's so many of those types of games. The Tuck game, that was in snow, when the guy cleared a path for the Patriots to kick a field goal in the snow in Foxborough. Those are memorable moments in football history. I just hated the fact that yesterday's game, I don't know if the best team won. Because the snow made it unplayable for the final 20 minutes of the game. It just did. It made it unplayable. Which calls into question even more, why would Sean Payton not kick a field goal and make it 10-0 when he knew the snow was coming? Maybe, I guess, the severity of it took him by surprise, but still kind of ridiculous. 1-800-919-3776. We'll finish up with phone calls, a couple other notes I want to hit on as well before we lead you to Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, and that's coming up at 3 o'clock, and you have to listen to that show. I'm telling you, you must. It's a must. Hey, it's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, well, make it count. Because after the Super Bowl, the season's over, and football is officially done. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. 21 plus and physically present in New York. First, online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
More people trust their hearts to New York Presbyterian than any other hospital in New York. It's because New York Presbyterian has the most experienced cardiovascular doctors, treating a full range of heart conditions, from heart failure to valve repair, with the most advanced treatments. Find a doctor at nyp.org/heart. New York Presbyterian. New York Presbyterian Hospital, based on U.S. News & World Report 2025 to 2026 cardiology, heart, and vascular surgery rankings.
Looking for the best meat and seafood at unbeatable prices? Get to Wild Fork Foods. They offer the widest selection of meats and seafoods you'll find anywhere. Everything is blast frozen to lock in flavor and nutrients. From beef and poultry to seafood, pork, and even exotic and game meats, you'll get the best value for your buck. Visit one of their 7 locations across Long Island and New Jersey, or order online for same-day delivery at wildforkfoods.com. Wild Fork Foods, your neighborhood's meat and seafood market.
Hey, New York and New Jersey, Boost Mobile has an unlimited talk, text, and data plan that's only $25 a month forever, meaning you'll only ever pay $25 a month for the rest of your life. Who wouldn't want unlimited wireless when it only costs $25 a month forever? If you don't, you must be one of those people who enjoy overpaying for their phone plan. $25 a month forever is truly as good as it gets, so go online and switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Hey, sorry I missed you. Your call is very important to me. Just not as important as the New Jersey Lottery's Green Ball promotion being back on Pick 3 evening drawings. See, if the green ball's drawn, that's a free second chance to win? So, yeah, you get it. It's only through February 1st, though, so try me after then?
Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. For game odds and promotion details, visit njlottery.com/pick3.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
There are a lot of reasons why people buy at Ramsey Mazda. It's their selection, it's their customer service, and it's their savings. Lease a new 2025 Mazda CX-50 2.5S Select with all-wheel drive for $179 for 33 months. Or buy with 0.9% APR financing for 72 months. Start shopping now at RamseyMazda.com. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda. Call 833-853-2970 for these details. VIN SN379853. MSRP $33,425. Zero security deposit. APR $14.27 per month per $1,000 finance. Ends 2/2/26.
Save more on the brands pros trust at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances and choose from our wide lineup of top brands. Plus, save $100 on a Little Giant 22-foot multi-position ladder. Now just $189. Built for strength, flexibility, and job site versatility. Pros, these savings will only be here for a limited time. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 1/30. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Rich Eisen here. Hiring for your small business can feel like a full-time job, but LinkedIn Jobs AI Assistant takes the heavy lifting out of it. It filters applicants based on the criteria you set and suggests 25 great fit candidates daily so you can invite them to apply and keep things moving. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Eisen, then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI Assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI Assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
You live for this. The wins, the losses, the slam dunks, and the buzzer beaters. The dream that this is your team's year. Hope. It's what keeps you coming back. So you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when everything's on the line, your support means everything. That's why the NBA Store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
The opening line for the Super Bowl, Seattle a 4.5-point favorite over New England. That could move. And the over-under at this point is 45.5. As I told you at the beginning, we'll break it down over the next 2 weeks, but I'm leaning Seattle. I think Drake May is going to have some trouble against that defense. Now, Matthew Stafford didn't, and I think Matthew Stafford is going to edge out Drake May as the MVP. Drake May had a tremendous season, but he has not had a tremendous postseason. You know, the 6 fumbles, a couple of interceptions. He didn't lose all 6 fumbles, but he has not played to the level that he played in during the season, and now you amp up the pressure on a Super Bowl, it becomes a completely different animal. And Seattle's defense, although I thought it got shredded by L.A., it's extraordinarily good. I don't know how many people watched the Knicks and the Sixers on Saturday. Knicks look really good. So I discounted their blowout win over the Nets because the Nets are dreadful. But the Sixers are a good team, especially with Embiid healthy. He didn't seem healthy in the second half like he was laboring, but he just ate up Cat in the first half. But the Knicks went to Philly and beat the Sixers. That's a nice win for them. But there is still some concern. Cat was awful, fouled out again. And Mikal Bridges was so bad, I think he was 3 for 16 from the field, that they benched him at the end of the game. Those two guys have to play better than that. And there seems to be just an underlying issue with Cat. Josh Hart looked like he took a shot at him. Doesn't seem like the coach is particularly in love with him. So that's a little bit of an issue as well. How many people watched the tease for the beginning of the game on CBS yesterday, which was the Patriots and the Broncos? So that was the first game. Now, I like Bert Kreischer as a comedian. He's the guy who rips his shirt off all the time. He's funny. He really is. But that's who they chose to voice the tease and be the face of the tease on CBS? Bert Kreischer? I mean, do you think, like, half the country knows who Bert Kreischer is? I know he is because I love comedians. I think they're great. It's one of the few forms of entertainment that I actually love because I like to laugh. But that was a weird choice. I mean, sometimes you see big actors and stuff like that, Morgan Freeman with his wonderful voice, but they chose Bert Kreischer. All right, so Sam Darnold going to the Super Bowl, and KFC Barstool tweets out, "I hate the Jets." Scott Turner, who was just fired as the passing game coordinator for the Jets, retweeted what KFC Barstool wrote and said, "Me too." How about that? How about that? One other thing that caught my eye over the weekend. I wonder if it caught yours. So, Baseball Writers Dinner was on Saturday, and Aaron Judge takes home another MVP. Deserved it. He was great. Seattle fans would probably say, no, Cal Raleigh did. It's a good argument to have, but we're not having it now on January 26th. But on Instagram, Juan Soto posts the statistics that both he and Judge had in the 2024 season, which were unbelievable. Both of them had just incredible years. And it just seems like Soto is, I don't know, longing for the days where he was a teammate of Judge. Why would you post that? You remember the Mets now. You're well compensated. There's great players on your team. Even if, has been reported by several people that it was his family that forced him to take the Met offer, he really wanted to come back to the Yankees, it's a done deal. You're not going back. So you got to leave it alone. And by posting these kind of things, it makes it look like you're unhappy with the Mets. You shouldn't be unhappy with the Mets. You're on a really good team. You're getting paid an extraordinary amount of money over a 15-year career. If you really wanted to go to the Yankees, the offers, they were different. The Mets were more, but it wasn't like you would, go to the poorhouse if you took the Yankee one. It really seems like he has this longing to be teammates with Aaron Judge again. Well, it was there for you, bud. You could have done it, and you chose the Mets. Now you have to let it go. It's important that you let it go. It's not a good look for the Mets. It's just not. And there's no reason to post your 2024 statistics with him. He accepted his MVP for the 2025 season. So putting up what you guys did in 2024, which was wondrous, and you went to the World Series, what purpose does that serve? And finally, Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos, who's one of the richest men in the world. They're not sending anybody to the Olympics, and they're not sending the 2 beat writers that cover the Washington Nationals to spring training. I mean, are you kidding me? You're one of the richest men in the world. Why'd you buy the Washington Post if you're going to be like this? Rupert Murdoch is not as rich as Jeff Bezos, but you know what? He funds the New York Post, and he just opened up the LA Post today. He puts big money into it. If you're going to own the paper, Jeff, then own the paper and do it the right way. Not sending the beat writers to spring training. I mean, come on. What a small look for a really, really rich man. Even if the Washington Post loses money, I mean, the money that he has in his ashtray in his car or in his spaceship could fund the Washington Post for the next 20 years. Just an awful look. Get out of the newspaper business if you hate it that much. Makes no sense. You've destroyed one of the great newspapers in the country. Don Hahn and Rosenberg coming up in just a moment. You know we'll be back again tomorrow at 1. We look forward to talking to you then. Fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio. It went by in an eye blink. In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for a goodbye again. See everybody. Talk to you tomorrow at 1.
You remember what it feels like to move without thinking about pain? To get up, sit up, walk, work, or live without that constant ache? If neck pain, back pain, joint pain, or sciatica took that away from you, it's time to get it back. I'm Bart Scott. Dr. J. Shaw at Sandwell Pain